What's up everyone? Welcome back to Let's Talk Games, the show where we talk about games. In the last episode, we talked about the top 5 games of 2022. For today's episode though, I want to talk about the most anticipated games coming out in 2023. Now, some of the games we're going to be talking about today do have release dates for this year, however, some don't have dates confirmed, so it's a bit of hopeful optimism. Okay, so let's get into the top 5 most anticipated games of 2023. Coming in at number 5 is Marvel's Spider-Man 2, announced all the way back in September 2021. This Spider-Man game is actually going to be a direct sequel to the first game and to the Miles Morales standalone DLC? I'll let you decide that one. Now, I know this being such a high-profile game, you're probably wondering why it wasn't first. Well, for me, there's actually a lot more I'm excited about on this list, which we'll get into right now. Now, for number 4, we've got Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy was actually announced way back in September 2022. Hogwarts Legacy, of course, being a spin-off Harry Potter game, and the release date is actually around the corner, 10th of February. Now, this game would have been closer to the number 1 spot if it had multiplayer. That's what I really wanted out of it, but I completely understand their single-player, story-driven experience. Those are still amazing to have, and I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun with this game regardless. Now, coming in at number 3 is The Haunted Chocolatier. Now, in case you don't know what Haunted Chocolatier is, it's a spiritual successor to Stardew Valley, in which you look after a haunted chocolate factory instead of a farm. I'm a very big indie game gamer. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the AAA titles, as I'm sure you'll see before and after, but indie games, they just have something that sometimes AAA games lack. And of course, I'm a massive Stardew Valley fan, so anything that this game dev puts out, I'm playing. Coming in at number 2 is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, with a release date of the 17th of March 2023. Jedi Survivor is a sequel to the Fallen Order that came out in 2019. I'm very excited to see where they place Jedi Survivor in the actual lore of Star Wars, considering it's supposed to be canon at this point. And of course, always having a redhead Jedi, that's the way to go. I'm actually looking at my list of games that I was supposed to go through and decide, the top 5, and I'm kind of having an issue with choosing the last one. On the other hand, right, okay, we can do this. I'll put my list down. Now, before we get into the number 1 slot, I have to go through some honorable mentions. Well, 2 honorable mentions. Number 1 is Pikmin 4. I've been a big fan of Pikmin since I was a kid. I love Pikmin, and the new one looks amazing. Up next is Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones would have actually fit on the list of top 5 if it wasn't for just being a ship combat game. I'm very annoyed that it's just not going to be like roaming around islands, but hey, that's your game. Okay, the number 1 slot that I'm most excited about, the most anticipated game of 2023. I'm sorry, it's a tie. It's a tie between Hollow Knight Silksong and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I love them both, and let's get into why, they both fit on number 1. Okay, so firstly, this isn't your grandma's top 5 list, I can have 2 number 1s, that's okay. You can have 2 best men, you can have 2 best friends. I'm gonna have 2 5 top games for 2023. Okay, first let's talk about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I am a big fan of Breath of the Wild, although I will say my favorite Zelda game is Wind Waker, so I think that's also why I kind of like Breath of the Wild more, because of its toony style and the kind of art that they're going for, slightly cel-shaded. So yeah, Tears of the Fallen Kingdom, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a fantastic sequel to Breath of the Wild. I'm so interested to find out more about the story and what's actually happening within this world. So yeah, it definitely deserves to be tied for number 1. But let's talk about Hollow Knight Silksong. So Hollow Knight was your kind of traditional Metroidvania type game. You go through all the different levels, up, down, left, right. You go to faraway places and you come back, and then you can unlock new areas to get to when you get a power-up, that sort of thing. But the gameplay is actually a small reason why I think it deserves first place. Between the story, the lore, which by the way, if you love lore-rich games, this is definitely one for you. The music is amazing, the characters are interesting to get behind, and don't even get me started on the ending of the game. I'm so excited to see where Silksong is going to pick up, and what kind of life lessons that she takes through going into her own game. So yeah, those are my top 5 or 6 most anticipated games 2023. What games do you agree on? What games do you think should have been on the list? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Keep gaming, everyone. See you next time.